Well, I was born in 1943 in Marietta at the old Marietta Hospital, which was about 2 blocks off of the Marietta Square, and came back to Acworth with my parents and lived here most of my life. Well, my mother was born in the Mars Hill community. She was one of 6 children, and my grandfather was basically a farmer, Grandfather Scroggs. And they all went to the Mars Hill School, which the building is still standing. It's just been remodeled, refurbished.
Next to the cemetery?
Next to the cemetery. And that's where she went to school. And they went to Mars Hill Presbyterian Church, which was the church was founded in 1837. And so it was a real old church.
Yeah.
And that's where they went to church. My grandmother's father, my great-grandfather, was Smith Lemon. And Smith Lemon and his brother, James Lyle Lemon, after the war, opened the Smith Lemon Banking Company with money that they had hidden gold. They had hidden gold in the back of their old house.
You mean during the war?
During the war, yes. Trying to hide it from the Yankees, which they did. The Yankees didn't find it. And when the war was over, they both survived the war, and they used this gold to rebuild their store and start the Smith Lemon Banking Company. And my father, he worked for his father when he was young in his father's store. Then when my grandfather passed away, my father and one of his brothers carried on the business for a long time. Oh, he sold everything from plows to feed, clothes, work clothes, horseshoes, whatever you can imagine. It was a general mercantile store. Well, I remember my father used to take my brother and I down to Proctor Creek, down there near the end of Seminole Drive, and we would go swimming. The beach was, built and made, and we used to go down to Acworth Beach a lot and play there. When I was real young, they had a little miniature golf course, putt-putt golf down there, and a miniature train that would go around and around throughout the golf course. The field was across from my house. It was at Acworth School called the Flat. Oh, that's where everybody would gather. Sometimes we would go down there, and a group of guys would play baseball in the summer, football in the fall and winter, and it was just a great time. And one good thing for me, which holds true today, is that I started to school in the 1st grade at Acworth, and I went through 12 grades with a lot of the same kids. Merle McCoy, Moose McCrae, Jackie Van, Johnny Hembry. These were all 1st grade classmates of mine. A lot of the same guys that are still good friends of mine. We still stay in touch with some of them. And I just think that's a wonderful thing that's lost on today's children. I was one of the few people, I know you've heard of Miss Fannie B. McClure.
Absolutely.
But I was one of the few people that did not have her in the 1st grade. I had Miss Lorraine Day was my 1st grade teacher. Then in the 3rd grade, I had Miss Daisy Swanson. And she was a wonderful lady, a good teacher. And she employed the old corporal punishment on me one time. I got in a scuffle with another guy who still lives here in Acworth, good friend of mine. And we got in a little scrap, and she paddled us both. And when I got home that afternoon, my mother had already heard about it, and she gave me another little paddling. So that was normal for those days. Well, after high school, I applied at Presbyterian College in South Carolina. And I wanted to try and play football. So they accepted me into school, and I walked on to the football team. And at the end of my freshman year, I gave it up. I couldn't balance the academics and the athletics,
It's
I
hard
guess.
to do it all. Isn't it?
I have admiration for guys now who can do that because it's a hard life.